team was going to play aggressive and hit first with their guys. When you look at this one, what were some of the details that led to the Pistons being so successful?
Yeah, it was no secret how they play. They drive the basketball. They try to get into your paint, and they try to get to your rim. Try to create turnovers so they can get out in transition and get easy buckets, and the offensive rebounding piece. So games like this, you have to have just a competitive edge about yourself in order to take on multiple guys crashing at the glass, being secure with the basketball so we don't turn the basketball over. A list of things. And so when those things don't happen, you give up 130 points.
Do you look at this one as some of the results being because of the second night of a back-to-back and some guys potentially being kind of tired?
You know I'm not going to allow that to happen, Megan. There's no excuses. You know, we all play the same amount of games throughout the course of the year, and the schedule dictates its own self for each team. We gave effort in Philadelphia yesterday, and the expectations, what we always talk about, was to win this basketball game. So the people who suited up, the people who played, the people who stepped on the floor had an opportunity to impact the basketball game for their teammates. And that's the objective every single time we step on the floor. We were expected to win tonight. That's the goal. And whether it's a back-to-back, I remember 4 and 5 nights, 3 and 4, 4 and 6, doesn't matter. You do what's necessary, whether that's taking care of your body, the mental part of it, the work that goes on between days off, between games, game day, to get yourself in a position to win. That's why we do this thing.
And we saw Ben Simmons, he came out of the game. Do you have an update on Ben and also TJ Warren?
Yeah, he ended up, Ben and TJ ended up having some knee soreness. So both of them.
Coach, I think this is the second time for Ben on the second.
TJ, sorry.
Okay.
Knee contusion for TJ. So he got hit. That's contusion. Let me clarify my diagnosis for you, Megan. And Ben was knee soreness.
Ben, this is the second time for him in the second game of back-to-back where he's had a left knee or a left calf or something like that. Is that a concern where the second game of back-to-back for him, he might not be able to maybe play in those?
Well, I think, Christian, the goal is, in my eyes, I'll say this, is for everyone to play every game and to do what's necessary to be prepared to play every game. There's a certain amount of minutes that each individual played in Philly. Some played equally tonight. So the preparation that it takes going into that, you just have to give credit to the guys who were prepared to play, ready to play, did what was necessary to get their bodies ready to play. And
secondly, I think we spoke a little bit pregame about the Pistons and their physicality, but one thing that stands out about them is their size, right? You've got a bunch of guys who are 6'5" or taller, a bunch of guys who are stocky, strong. What can you guys do to maybe combat teams that are composed like that have that type of player, or those players who are physical and strong with that size?
Yeah, that's a great, way to look at it. That's a challenge for us. And we talked about playing different lineups out there. Sometimes those lineups give us the opportunity to put, 122 on the board. But now we got to worry about the other end. And so a lot of that, Christian, I think boils down to the early work of you reacting to those guys. And so whether that is you have to anticipate a shot going up and then you hit first, and then maybe the referee sees him push, you get pushed instead of you pushing. So overall, that early work of being prepared to have combat on plays. There's nothing wrong with that word and nothing wrong with bringing that to the table every night.
Jacque, do you know how Ben got hurt?
I do not. I just got a performance update that he has some soreness, and that was it for me, Nick.
Do we know yet for either Ben or TJ about an MRI tomorrow?
I was not told anything about an MRI. That's not to say that it won't be done, but they didn't tell me anything before I came out here.
Jacque, shortly before the game, obviously Kevin and Kai named to the All-Star game again. Just your thoughts on those guys getting that honor again?
Yeah, we chose to address the team about the expectations of winning after the basketball game, but we also chose to show gratitude and show a little bit of joy of saying those guys deserve to be All-Stars, 13-time, 8-time, pretty impressive. So we celebrated that after the game as well.
And then, Nick, I know you spoke quite about him before the game, but he keeps kind of elevating his game during this run. Feels like he does a little bit something different every night. What do you see? Do you see new things from him from this stretch?
A prime example, Tom, is I'm leaving Philly the other night, and I go to the restroom, and we have some cold tubs that are in the bathroom. There's 2 cold tubs that are in there, and the 2 guys that are in there is Royce O'Neal and Nick Claxton. And I'm leaving, washing my hands, wiping my hands, and they're talking about being prepared to play tomorrow. That professionalism, that maturity will go a long ways for Nick Claxton. It's paying off for him. The preparation, the dedication to your craft, to show up and be prepared to play every single night. There's something to it, and he's getting rewarded for it.
Kind of forgot my question.
Oh, Christian, my bad, man. You see, I be wanting to win, Christian. Huh? Now you see why I walk home. I get decompressed as I'm going home, but it's cold today, too.
Yeah, so you're very inspiring today, motivating. Question about the defense. I know you've mentioned and talked about it after these last couple of games about defending without fouling. Is there some type of message that you're giving your players, or what have you seen of the challenges that they have been having when it comes to that?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, especially with our team, because we're a team where we don't produce a lot of turnovers, all right? And so sometimes you get in a position where you can gamble and get a turnover. Prime example was end of the shot clock, Edmund Sumner's on the right side of the floor, guy drives to the hole, and Ed reaches in and almost gets the steal, but it's a foul. All right, so now we're in a position of, do you try to go for the steal or not? Do you just position yourself? I think we got to get and lean more towards being conservative and just being vertical at the rim and not reaching as much and not worrying about turning someone over, because the fouls are hurting us. It hurt us in the second half of Philly. It hurt us again tonight. And so it's the fouls where, it's 5 minutes to go in the first quarter of Philly the other night, and we foul and they get 2 free throws because of the bonus. And so the timing of the fouls also are getting to us as well. So I think it overall is playing hard, but playing smart at the same time.
Okay, it's back to me now.
Came back to you?
Yeah, so I think we're past the point of maybe comparing last year's team to this year's team when Kevin is out. But at the same time, 2-6 now with him out. How do you keep the spirits high, even though the losses are piling
You
right
don't
now?
give us the credit for the Miami win? The 2 and 1/4?
Yeah. I mean, he played. He was in that game.
You don't get all right.
But how do you keep the spirit of the group high, even though the losses are piling?
I think it boils down to a few things. This group has to be competitive, and we're going to count on them to be competitive every single night. My message will not change. I will not budge an inch on giving them an excuse. So I think that's where the consistency is going to come into play. And then there's a few things. You got to do the work. And then the proof and the evidence is we have the ability to be in games and to win games. When we all show up, when we all play, and we dedicate ourselves to getting stops on one end of the floor and sharing the basketball on the other end. The recipe isn't very complicated. And we're going to try not to complicate it, keep it real simple. Be honest with this group. First words out of my mouth was, we were expected to win this game. And so when we lace them up 2 days from now, we'll be expected to win that game. Thanks, JD. All right, guys.